Okay, let's get to the question. The student wants to present an overview of the study's finding. So I'm gonna highlight an overview of the study's findings. So overview is like general conclusion, and this is about study's findings. So we have to come up with the conclusion. So nice summary of these studies will be sufficient to answer. Alright, so let's read the student's note. Researchers in 2021 study wanted to determine the rate at which 17 languages conveyed both information and syllables. So they are interested in the rate, speed, how the 17 languages compared each other for both information and syllables. So I'm gonna call it A and B for different test criteria. So line 1 is simply the main topic. Now line 2, they calculated the bits of information surveyed per second. So we are talking about how the information, the rate of information here, so informational rate, and the IR was found to be approximately consistent across the 17 languages. So this is a conclusion, and that matches with an overview of the study's finding. So I'm gonna highlight line 3 here. Okay, so there wasn't much difference. All 17 languages had same informational rate, an average of 39 bits per second. Okay. Line 4. They calculated the number of syllables spoken per second. So we are talking about the syllable, the second metric used to compare. So line 2 and 3 was informational rate. 1 is about main topic. Line 4, 5, 6, as you can see, it's a syllable, syllable, syllable with a specific example. So line 5 and 6 will be the specific example that support. And line 4, they calculated the number of syllables per second, and this shows how the research was conducted. Okay, so we have an idea now, so let's look at the answer choices. The 2021 study determined the information rate of 17 languages in bits of information conveyed per second. Okay, the study findings include not only informational rate but also syllable rate. It said both. There's a reason why they said both. Only one of them was mentioned, and also there is no conclusion to be made here. It just say they used this information to compare, but nothing about the overview of their finding, nothing about conclusion. So A is out. Choice B, researchers found that the information was conveyed more quickly in Spanish at 7.7 syllables per second than in Vietnamese at 5.3 syllables per second. Now that's a true statement, however, it's missing out another metric, another information, like informational rate. It only talks about syllables per second, but nothing about the informational rate, IR, from line 3. So B is out. Choice C, Vietnamese had the 16th fastest syllable rate, lower than that of Spanish, which had the second fastest. However, Spanish had a lower informational rate of the two. While C, the first statement is correct, that's what line 5 and 6 show. So in other words, it shows the degree of how some languages have more SR than the other. But the second statement is incorrect. It says, however, Spanish has a lower information rate of the two. Now if you go back to line 3, it says IR, informational rate, was found to be approximately consistent across, meaning they were about the same. And so this defies The line 3, so it's giving a wrong information. So C is out. Choice D, though some of the languages differ in number of syllables spoken per second. That's a good summary instead of giving out too specific, but the specific examples in line 5 and 6 did mention that there's a degree of variety of SR. So this is good, it differs as we saw in line 5 and 6. All 17 convey the information at roughly the same rate, and that's what line 3 was talking. Approximately consistent across 17 languages for 39 bits per second, which represent the informational rate. So these are good conclusions that use both metrics and that summarize instead of just spewing out all the details. So the correct answer should be D.